Hi everybody. How are you today? Guess what we're gonna do today? We're gonna plant potatoes. That's what we're gonna do. Neighbors are always fixing their cars. That's all I can say. So my gloves. I need those. They're right here. I wanted to share with you today how to plant potatoes. Now, I did this last year, and I was pretty successful by accident. I planted potato seed starts in 5-gallon buckets, and I used a method that I saw on YouTube, and it was the method where you put some potting mix in the bottom of a 5-gallon bucket with some organic matter. You use potato starts that look like this. These are potatoes that obviously have been in my pantry for way too long. And I cut them in half last year, and I put 3 starts in each 5-gallon bucket. And then when they sprouted through the soil, then I put more dirt and organic matter, covered them up, and then left them in there for a couple days, and then they came through again, and I kept adding and adding layer by layer by layer by layer until it got to the top of the bucket. And then I mulched the top of the bucket, and then I let the plant grow. And the plant grew for about, I don't know, 50, 60, 70 days. And then the plant died, and it tipped over, and I thought I did something wrong. But little did I know the plant will die off, and that's when you know your potatoes are ready. Well, I jumped the gun and dumped the buckets out onto a tarp and got all the potatoes out, and they were all small baby potatoes, which were fantastic for breakfasts and dinners and stuff like that. But I didn't realize that if you leave them in the dirt after the plant dies off for about 3 or 4 weeks, it makes the skin harder on the potato, which makes it easier for storing. So that's what I want to do this year. Also, this year, instead of using a 5-gallon bucket, I'm going to go ahead and use an 11-gallon bucket, which is this bucket. I have holes throughout the entire bucket, on the bottom and around the sides. They need a lot of drainage. And then I put wood chips in the bottom for proper drainage so they can get rid of the water that it either rains or if I water it too much. In this bucket here, I have a mixture of Miracle-Gro potting mix and manure, the stinky stuff. Last year I used mushroom compost, which was fine. Anything that's organic that you can feed them is good. Now today's July 10th, and potatoes take anywhere from 70 days to 120 days, depending on the variety. I have no idea what the variety these are. This is a bag of potatoes from the store, so I have no idea what the variety is. And it's a little late in the season to be planting potatoes, but you know what? I got the soil, I got the potatoes, why not try it? I mean, can't hurt, right? Because I'm going to be able to use the same soil next year. I'm not wasting anything but my time and energy right now, and I hope that this video helps you, encourage you to want to do potatoes next year. Or if you're in a longer growing season right now, maybe you can start them right now. Who knows? I have no idea. But I had success last year, and I want to try it again this year because it felt like Christmas. When I dumped those buckets out and there were potatoes in the buckets, it was like Christmas. I couldn't believe it. Like I grew potatoes. It was strange, but I did it. So this year I'm going to do the same thing. So again, I started with an 11-gallon bucket. Don't mind the cicada. That and loud cars driving by. That's what we're going to deal with when you're at my house. In here I already have the wood chips. I've got about 1 inch down here of the wood chips. I have the Miracle-Gro and the manure in this big bucket. I'm going to give it some water because you want the potting mix to be a little bit moistened when you put anything in it, actually. You make it nice and clumpy like a wet brownie mix. And then I'm just going to put it in the bottom of this bucket here. Now I'm putting about 3 or 4 inches, no, 3 inches of the dirt and the manure. Get that in there. then I'm going to go ahead and put my seed potatoes in there. Now I'm going to do them whole this year. Last year I cut them in half and I made very small potatoes. Probably the biggest potato was about that big, which was about this big actually. So I'm going to leave these potatoes whole and put them in here. I'm trying to leave all the eyes facing up. So I'm going to put them in a circle. 1, 2, 3. This one's good. Look at that one. Looks like an alien. 4. And 5. Let me show you what that looks like. See in there? That's what it's going to look like. Now I'm going to layer more soil and manure over the top of this to cover all of these about 2 inches above the top of the highest eye that's in there. That is what I'm going to do right now. So once I get this soil in here and this manure, I'm also going to do a layer of straw. Just a light layer of straw to hold in the moisture, give it a little more insulation, and also when I put my next round of manure and soil over the top, it will give it some looseness to the soil, and that's what I want. You want your soil to be loose when you're growing potatoes. You don't want it to be compacted and hard. Like, you would never want to use garden soil in a bucket like this because it's too compacted and it would be hard for the potatoes to grow. So there, maybe a little more. I have, when I grew these last year, it was pretty interesting to watch how they grew, because as soon as they sprouted up out of the dirt, that's when you want to start putting in their more soil and let them grow. So that's good. Let's give it some water. It's already coming out the sides, which means it's good drainage. It's nice and loose. And then I'm going to go ahead and top it with straw. Now I will wait for them to pop up. It'll take about a week for those eyes of those potatoes to pop up through this straw. And once they do, then I'm going to go ahead and top it off with more garden soil mix and manure, about another 3 or 4 inches, cover up the sprouts, and then I'll do another layer of straw on top of that. So the straw component this year is something that I'm doing different. I did not do that last year, but I'm going to try it. I do know people that plant potatoes in the ground, just layer their sprouts that are coming out of the ground with straw, heavy straw mulch, and then the sprouts come out of the straw, and then they heavy mulch with the straw, and they keep doing that until they have a big mound of straw. Well, I don't have a ton of straw, I only have a little bit, so this straw will just give it a little bit of breathing room in there for those potatoes to grow. Maybe they'll grow bigger because they're not so compacted in the soil. I don't know, this is just an experiment. But like I said, it's July 10th today. Potatoes take 70 to 120 days. So if we go in 30-day increments, that's July, August, September, October. October 15th is our first expected frost date. Let's hope that we get at least 90 days of growth out of these potatoes from right now before it freezes. So I'm looking for these to be harvestable by the first frost date. If that's the case, that's great. If that potato bush tips over and it's done growing, and I know that it's done, I can even bring these buckets inside and let those potatoes sit in these buckets indoors so that the skin can get hard when they're inside, so I don't have to lose my potatoes to frost. But being in a bucket, I highly doubt this entire bucket is going to freeze. I'll also have my greenhouses set up so I can throw the buckets into the greenhouse and just let them harden up a little bit more. And then you can reuse the soil next year. So I'm really excited to grow these potatoes. I hate myself for not starting them earlier like I should have, but I just wanted to share this with you because I was successful with the potatoes last year, although they were cut in half and they were tiny, tiny potatoes last year, but it was fine. I still ate them. It's just me. I don't have a huge family to feed. It's just me and my dog. So I wanted to share that with you today. I hope you enjoy the video. I'm not sure if you've ever grown potatoes before in your life, but if you have, why don't you comment below or message me and let me know how you did it, because I would love to learn from you as much as I share information with you, and I hope that what I'm sharing with you today encourages you to get in the garden. Get your fingernails dirty, because dirty hands equal clean food. And I love sharing what I know with you. I hope it helps you. I hope it encourages you to garden, and I wish you the very best in your garden adventures. Thank you for watching. Take care, God bless, and we will see you in the next video.